if you're an artist thinking short term, guess what? You will sell your art, but once. For smart artists who think ownership, guess what happened? They get paid for life selling their art. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 steps of art ownership system that you can apply and to make sure that you keep getting paid for life. Step number 1 is that you have to create an original art. That's what you have to do. Your goal or your job or your duty is to create an original art. Continue to create. If nobody buys it yet, fine. Just continue to create. That is the number 1 step. Create. When you create an original art, original piece, it is your IP, your intellectual property. That is yours. That is yours to own. That is yours to have. That is your legacy. That is your asset. So create an original art. And everything pretty much going to start with original art. Like, just continue to create. If you don't create, right, no creation, no ownership. No creation, no ownership. So everything will pretty much start with your original art. As an artist, you got to have an original art to call yourself an artist. Once you have a couple of original art sitting, now you know that you are an artist. And if you don't create, you don't own. And being an artist, ultimately, it's about being an owner, owning your art, owning your IP, owning your intellectual property. So the most important part is we need to own what we make. We need to own what we create. This is our art. It comes from here. It comes from here. So we own it. We have to own our original art. Number 2 is capture. What happens is don't lose it. When you create your original art, you have to capture it and don't lose it. That is step number 2. The reason, if you don't capture your art, then you can't reuse it. If you do not capture your art, then you cannot reuse it. Because if somebody purchased the original art from you and they fly it out somewhere, then you lose it. I just shipped 2 pieces to Australia, and I just got an email today that she got it and she about to take it to a professional to restretch it, and then she can hang it up. Now, if I did not capture those pieces, then I have lost it for good. I cannot ask that person to capture it and send it to me. It's my piece. It's my IP. I have to capture it and own it, and then send that original piece in exchange for money. But I still own that IP. It's mine forever. I can pass it down. I can do whatever I want to do with it. I can turn those pieces into hoodies, into caps, into t-shirts, you name it, into sweatsuit. You name it. I can create so many merch or so many products out of that. So that IP is mine to own because I created that original art. I can sell it, but I need to capture it and I need to own it. You need a pro copy of your art. So get a pro copy of it and store it safely. Okay? So step number 2, capture your original art and make sure you don't lose it. You make a copy of it, and then you make a professional copy of it, and you store it somewhere securely, somewhere safe. It's yours. You can sell the original copy, but now it's yours. You have a digital copy, you have a physical copy, somewhere safe and secure. That's yours to eat off for life. Step number 3, control. You need to keep control of your art. So keep your rights. Your art is your right. Your creation is your right. You created this piece. You made this happen. You wielded this out of nowhere into this realistic piece, a physical piece, and it's yours to have, and it's yours to own, and it's yours to benefit from it. So if anybody come across and asking you, give me those pieces, give me all your art, and sign the rights onto me, that is something that you're gonna have to think about. Consult someone from your family, lawyer, somebody, before you say yes, keep it. You do not want to lose your right to your art. You always want to keep your rights. So You do not lose it. It's yours to keep. So you have to have a control of it. And what you can do is you can keep reproduction of the piece, because if you keep the right of the piece, then you have you keep the reproduction right of the artwork. That's what happened. The reproduction art of that, the reproduction right of that art is your ownership, is yours. So that is something that you do not sign onto the next man, or some businessman or some slick, smart guy come over seeing that you coming up, you're creating amazing pieces, and then they have you sign something about signing the right of your pieces to them. Because let's say they come over and say, oh, you have amazing pieces, 10 good pieces, and they say, we're gonna give you $5,000 for each piece. That's 50K. You see that money, your eyes go like this. And what they're gonna say is, all right, so sign the rights to us for life. Now, because of that 50 grand and you signed the right of those pieces to them for life, now you lose the right. If someday in the resale market, your art ended up somewhere in the millions and it becomes very popular, that image or that recognition of that piece becomes very popular, you can't do anything with it. They can license it to someone in the apparel business, in the other art businesses, in so many other businesses, and they can reproduce it, and they own the right, and they can continue to eat of it, and they can pass it down to the next generation. You cannot say anything. You don't own the right. So you want to keep control. You want to keep the right of your work, and you do not want to give it up. If you don't control it, you don't own it. If you don't control your piece, if you don't control your art, if you don't control your physical original art, then you do not own it. Number 4, multiply. Multiply, multiply, multiply. Turn one piece into many. Turn one piece into many. It is your right to turn your one piece into many. You created it, you own it, it's yours. So all you gotta do is turn your one artwork into print, merch, digital, books, etc. You name it. Okay? Turn that piece that you own, multiplies it, and turn it into multiple artworks, print, merch, digital, books, etc., etc. It is yours. That is how you're going to slowly eat of it and pass it down to the next generation. It's just like music. When people create music, now let's say like 30 years ago, people were in the studio just creating music, and they just wasn't thinking anything about it. Some of the music, say, went over to the record, the record labels, and anything that goes onto the record labels, they own it. Now, for some demos and stuff that the record label didn't even budge, that ended up in your possession, and then 20, 30 years later, those are your IP, your music, you own it. And now that we have a streaming and we have all the digital places to put your music, that becomes a digital asset that you own, a musical digital asset, separate from what the record label owns. So now there's no contract on this music that you own, that you created 20, 30 years ago without even thinking that it can become something. But because you didn't sign the right to the label, it's yours now to keep. Now you can upload them onto these digital platforms, and whatever pennies or nickels or dimes that comes out of it, it's your money. It doesn't matter how small that money is. It is your money, and you can pass it down to the next generation. So that is the power of ownership. If we create our art, we should really, really think twice about it before, if anybody offer us anything regarding signing off the right of your art. You have to really, really think. You need an attorney. You need some family members. You need to talk to a couple of friends, talk to some experienced artists, ask them if that is the right thing to do. We do not sign our right to anyone. We want to own it so we can multiply it. We want to own it so we can multiply one into many, and we can sell it. We can turn that piece into consistent money, into forever money that comes in over and over and over, not stop. Number 5, it's compound. Compound, compound, compound. Long game pays forever. If you're thinking compound and you're thinking long game, And if you think a long game, that you're thinking getting paid forever. Once your pieces, your art, the style of it, the image of it, the feel of it, the brand of it matures, it becomes a brand that people can identify as a brand and recognize. Once that starts to happen with a long game, now you have the compound effects. Now the value automatically shoot up. So when we're playing this long game, and as our brand is getting more recognition, what we're doing is we're creating a compound effect that's down the line is going to benefit us. Is going to be a beneficial to us. So over time, your art becomes more valuable. Over time, your art becomes something of a legacy, a property, a generational wealth. Then you can pass it down to the next generation. So compound. You have to play the long game. If you play the long game, your art will appreciate, and you can pass it down as a generational wealth. So your art will mature if you play the long game. If you hold on to it and you continue to do your work, you continue to push your art. As your brand gain more recognition, your values start to shoot up. As your brand get more recognition, the value of your brand, or the value of you, your personal brand, you as an artist, start to shoot up. As you start selling your art from 2,000, you can end up selling your artwork as 200 grand. Now, if you're selling your art at 200 grand and you have an art that's been compound for years, now that can just shoot all the way up. So you're not gonna look, the value doesn't reverse, it just keep going up. If you play the long game, it's gonna compound. And that is something that you can pass it down to the next generation. So these are the 5 things that I'm gonna let you try to apply and try to think over and make sure that you never let go. So number 1, you create an original artwork, original work. Number 2, you capture and make sure that you do not lose your original artwork. Number 3, you control, you keep the right of your work. You control and keep the right of your work. Keep control. It's yours to keep. It's yours and your family to pass it down. It's yours. Do not sign the right of it to anyone. Number 4, think multiplication. You have to multiply one piece into many. When that time comes, you can multiply it. If you don't kind of get what I'm talking about in terms of multiplication, you can walk into H&M's and Uniqlo's and those places, and you see the collaborations between these apparel companies and, say, Keith Haring, say Jean-Michel Basquiat family, the Estate family, whatever, and you see how a single piece has been multiplied many times over and over into hoodie, into a t-shirt, you name it, you see them. If you go to a Brooklyn museum, you go to most of these museums, you will see Keith Haring there, you will see Basquiat there, you will see Picasso, you will see all these pieces that's been multiplied, and it's gonna keep running it over and over and over and over and over and over. So that's why you have to think multiplication. So that's number 4. And number 5, last but not least, is compound. Thinking long game. Play the long game and think long term. If you play the long game and think long term, your original pieces will compound. The compound effect will come home to benefit you. This is it. Put it into, let it, it's a food for thought. Let it marinate and work on it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here. Make sure to subscribe. Like, comment, and share this video with someone who like us, someone who's trying to grind, who's trying to make it happen. And also click the link below and go check out my website and support. Tell someone, and to tell someone to tell someone. If you're looking for an incredible, amazing gift to give to a family member, a friend, a loved one, check out my website, go support, grab my apron, grab a t-shirt, grab anything to support me. That's all I ask. I'll see you on the next one. Triple salute. 1. Peace.